train. Who knows? Find it out together.
I mean, I'm not even the Irish one of the three of us.
No, that's true. You are not the Irish one of the three of us. Oh,
St. Patty's Day.
Oh, yeah,
it's
that's
Tuesday,
part of
dude.
it.
I know. I bought this for it. I didn't get the chance to wear it, so sorry for not coming. I saw a picture of the family, and I was like, I should be in there, but
It's all right.
Enjoy it next year.
Icy roads and pandemic conditions.
always next year.
It will be happening again next year.
Happy early St. Patrick's to everybody.
We got sound. We're doing good. Good evening, everybody. Let's go ahead and.
We're gonna adjust that.
Yeah. Just a teeny tiny bit.
The new camera's almost here.
No.
Ah,
One of them's here. The new one's here. Welcome, everybody.
What's up?
We got all kinds of new equipment on the way. It's been on the way for a long. We got some of it sitting in a box right there. Just don't have enough of it to make it all work together. Good evening. Thank God it's Tuesday. I'm Ken Marangolo. He's Kevin Ricca.
What's going on, man? Missed you guys last week. Missed you guys last week also. We talk about a few people going to be missing here for a little while.
We're gonna be missing some other people.
Yeah.
T.
I do apologize for not being.
Come on, get the apology show again.
We had a great weekend for the WCAC basketball.
We did.
And then life kind of gets in the way. But glad to be back. Not a lot of great things to talk about, I guess, but we'll get through it.
I disagree.
We'll get through it. Now,
Lots
I'm
of great
looking forward
things.
to you bring me through this. I'm feeling kind of down about it all, to be honest.
Have you heard? Well, I'll tell you what. Well, let's just start with the good news. We addressed an issue of need in free agency. The big signing everyone's talking about all across Washington Commander Nation is Bobby McCain, free safety. He's here.
B-Mac?
We got him. We got him. Other people might have wanted him, and an Irish name a couple days before St. Patrick's Day. I mean, I can keep going all night. I mean, it all works.
A starting free safety on the Ides of March.
T, we can't hear you. Oh, I know why. Because I'm still operating it as if I'm on my own here on the show. I haven't yet turned you guys' mics on.
See, that's what happens when Ken's in charge of.
Yeah.
everybody's
Nicely
life.
done, EO. So last week I was crusty to clowning it. Of course, EO. The only mic. Last week I was just screaming into my cell phone down here. So everyone's on now. Everyone's on now. The Bobby McCain thing, whatever. We need. He's a starter. He's starting safety for us. It locks up the back end.
Whatever. I thought that guy played his ass off. I really did. He's a playmaker. He made big plays for us. I think there was one game in particular. I'm not going to remember what it was, but where he filled an alley one time, and you and I both, Kevin. It was like eye popping the way that he did that.
Yeah,
And
'cause he plays corner also.
He played inspired. He played Ron Rivera football, obviously, and I think it's a great fit.
No, I love that we brought him back. He an 11 run in 2 years. It's not like he's going to hurt anybody. He's going to start. He's already been a cog. He knows the game plan. Thanks, Bobby McCain. I know Ken started it off on that type of level, but we are happy to have you back
Bobby McCain,
for the Commander Skins football team.
not a under the radar signing for us. He's
Still the same.
starter.
Uh-oh.
No, we're good. We're good.
All right.
So here's what happened. Not only were your channel's not turned
Right,
on,
right.
but your actual microphones weren't even plugged in.
They weren't even
before.
plugged in.
They weren't even plugged in. I was getting real, I was like
Well, we just had a great Bobby
Apollo
McCain
13 up here
discussion
last week.
for those that didn't hear.
Yeah.
I heard it. It was
sorry.
great. Red thoroughly enjoyed it.
Rhett enjoyed it, apparently.
We don't need to. I think we need to get into it, get through it, and get out of it. But last Tuesday night, I ranted and raved about all the variety of actions we may or may not have taken a quarterback. We've been doing that for a month and a half. Of all the things that Carson Wentz does for us, he has saved us from speculating about every single possible breathing quarterback who's still playing football right now, playing for us next season. Like that conversation
true.
is over for this offseason. And for that, I'm thankful.
For that, you're thankful. Well, we got a quarterback, and you know what?
Do we?
dude,
We
I'm
got
not,
2, by the way.
I'm not,
2.
I'm not as down on him as you are, but I'm not exactly thrilled either. I just didn't have the expectations. I knew there was no way we were getting Deshaun Watson, and once I did have a little bit of hope for Russ, thinking Richmond and
Yeah.
John Allen and him
Yeah,
were
yeah.
all buddying up and whatever. I let myself get ahead of myself there because I can't imagine. He's like, oh, yes, hello, Mr. Snyder. Fantastic to finally get the opportunity to meet you. Anyways, I like that we got this dude. If we're going to make the improvement, I guess, then I like that we got a guy with a big old arm, 6'5", 240, who has done nothing but win in this conference. So.
You're the numbers man. You've got numbers that can show how it is an upgrade. Just looking at him, watching
I try
him
to
play,
put lipstick on that piggy.
He's got those tools. What I just thought about on the way over here that was really ironic to me is that yes, he's an upgrade physically at the position, but the one thing I think we're learning he lacks is everything Heineke stood for. Was charisma and was being a leader. Somebody the rest of the team wanted to follow.
Likability.
That's weird, man.
Well, the good
That's
news
weird,
is
man.
maybe he'll learn some of that from the backup by being in the
know.
quarterback room with him for a
I don't know.
freaking
He
year.
just seems like a
because he's
weird
gonna have
dude.
to.
It just the things that he's
Well,
gone
he
through. The
is
last 2 places
definitely-
he's gone, it's just
He's not Derek Carr,
doesn't
Kirk
fit
Cousins
in.
weird. He's a different kind of weird.
But also, have you seen a lot of that I agree with, but also we haven't heard about the other side. A lot of the big names, including Ryan Kelly, who's the biggest badass center in the NFL, wishing him saying he had not. There's guys that stepped up and stood out
don't
for
think he's
him.
a
And there's
bad
guys
dude.
that said, but look, here's the deal. Here's the one stat I'm going to throw out there that just made me feel a little better because I'm not thrilled. I'm just not ready to take a big dump all over him yet. I knew we weren't getting some superstar. I'm glad we got a guy like this that had superstar potential at one point before a couple injuries. But his last 16 starts against the Giants and the Cowboys as an Eagle, his last 16 starts against the Giants and the Cowboys, he threw a grand total of 3 picks. All right, it's 11-5 in those games, and a lot of them that were very important games in the division. And he threw a grand total of 3 picks in 16 of those games. For us, our last 16 games, 8 each versus those 2 franchises, our starting quarterback for this team has thrown 20 picks, and we have I believe, a 4-12 record in those games, maybe 5-11, something like that. Whatever it is, it stinks. It stinks because we throw a million interceptions. He's not going to throw picks. He's not going to throw picks. That's one thing he's not going to do.
It's
He's
not
gonna
quite
throw.
lipstick on the pig. I don't think. I think it's a fair statistic to bring up. But let's also remember he was playing amongst players that were consistently in the playoffs, if not in the
he was the
conference
reason they were
championship,
going to the
and won a
playoffs.
Super Bowl.
But not receivers. He's never had. Terry McLaurin's the best receiver
Got
he
it.
will ever play
They
with.
were a better team than the team that your statistics for the Redskins.
I think he was the
Well,
difference
but
maker
20
for
picks
those
versus
teams.
span
3.
of time.
20 picks versus 3.
I get it.
That's
And that's why he's an upgrade.
egregious on our
That's why
on
he's
our
an upgrade
behalf.
at the position. I just think everybody, we all know, it wasn't a splash.
So-
it wasn't a splash.
No, it
We
wasn't a
wanted-
splash.
My
we
whole
wanted to have that we were hoping to
Carson
get
Wentz-
that Ron Rivera was talking about trying to get, and
A
then when those
veteran.
dominoes
he
fell,
promised us a veteran. He got us a veteran. My whole thing about it is it's a 1-year deal. We weren't getting the guy we wanted. Apparently, we wanted Russell Wilson. We didn't get him. We didn't make any other moves on anyone else. If you're not going to get the guy you want and you don't love anybody in the first round of the draft that you feel like you could actually get, then you know what? As much as we didn't advocate for kicking the can down the road another year, in fact, we advocated the opposite. Last year, we said 2022 has to be the year we make a move. At some point in time, you got to push your chips in. This was not pushing your chips in by any stretch. It's a 1-year deal for $28 million, all cash. We have 2 options with him still. If we have free agents that do want to come here, that we want to sign, and we need room, we can create it with his salary. We also have options on him if he becomes some kind of Mr. Universe player, which I don't think is going to happen. And we still have Taylor Heineke, and I think Heineke and Wentz is a big-time upgrade over Heineke and Kyle Allen, this past season, because we never really had Ryan Fitzpatrick. So Carson Wentz, I thought, was the reason those Eagles teams went to the Super Bowl in those years when he was good. Obviously, he didn't win the Super Bowl for them, but when they went to the playoffs, when they were a contender, he was the difference. I mean, he was healthier and more mobile in those days, but he was the difference. So it's like
we saw him this
a
past
non-boner inducing move, right?
We saw him
that's
this
just what it
past year.
is.
He was a shell of what we saw in his sophomore
He
year.
did fine. He
Dude,
was
he
good.
had 27 touchdowns and 7 picks and threw for 3,500 yards and didn't throw the ball that much on an offense that ran the ball every other down. That wasn't his. That's not his. They're gonna let him free here. I think that's part of the reason why he's gonna be all right. He took a lot of the blame for that end of the season. He's not some guy that hasn't. 27 touchdown passes is nothing in a league that guys are throwing for 50 and 60. I get it. I'm just talking about the fact that he had a solid year. He's solid. That's what we got. We got a middle of the road guy, but we got a guy that's a vet that's not going to make interception mistakes. He has 66 fumbles in less than 6 years, but he's recovered 30 of them. So he's pretty good at dropping it and picking it up himself, self-pass. But
Kev,
hey, look.
I did the comments on the board. One of the things I was going to say, which is another big deal, is that he was going to be released. I'm not sure he was or wasn't. I think you could believe that he was
Doesn't
probably.
matter.
It doesn't matter. But the one reason why you do make the move that Washington made with 2/3, and which I don't think is a lot to pay, price wise, price tag wise for a veteran quarterback, 2/3, you do that deal all day. But if he gets released, and even one other team is interested in him, it's a way bigger financial investment.
Yeah.
So you pay the draft picks, which isn't that big of a price tag in my opinion, and he's essentially a cost-controlled veteran player, which in professional sports we talk about it in baseball, we talk about it, in basketball. Cost-controlled guys, that's one of the reasons why Deshaun Watson is so valuable. They're going to pay more for him, but he's cost-controlled. So there is some intelligence behind that part of the move.
And we'll see how much intelligence and how much of a big enough arm and how much of a locker room guy for at least 1 year, because Terry McLaurin's the guy that's going to be the loudest. What he decides, I believe, I can't wait to hear what he has to say about this with his decision-making process moving forward. If he jumps up here in the next couple of days or in the next couple of weeks and decides, I want to stick around here. I like the way they're headed. It's not going to be fully because of Carson Wentz, but the idea behind that suggests that Carson Wentz, if we do like him, if we get an offseason with him, and he's the type of guy, we can restructure this deal to get salary cap help right now. If we want to make it a 3-year deal, we have the option to spread that signing bonus out, to spread the rest of that contract out that we incurred over the next 3 years.
Until Honey Badger says.
Sure, Honey Badger's not coming here. Don't make me feel.
But Kevin, that's kind of like what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not taking away my options on Wentz for anyone but like a free agent who otherwise ain't coming.
Right. But you know what? But if Terry McLaurin says, "Hey, I'll take a shot."
So you said something that actually may provide some hope. Maybe in Indianapolis, people wanted him to be a leader. Maybe he needed to be a leader. Maybe that position had to be. Maybe coming here and you got Terry McLaurin's and you got Chase Young type guys that are here that are young, Jonathan Allen. He doesn't need to be the leader. Maybe those are the guys that can help Wentz for whatever reason. His Christian, sort of I'm laid back, not a real inspiring guy. Maybe that fits. Then he can just worry about playing, and maybe it's a good fit. I mean that could be. Hopefully it is. And
Rivera's a hell of a leader of men, so maybe he has to take a bit of the slack. But I hate knowing that our quarterback's coming in here and he's not that great of a leader. But he's just a very inquisitive guy, and he's a very smart guy, but he's a very hardworking guy from what we understand. So he's going to get in there and mix it up, and him and Scott Turner are going to go at it. They're going to butt heads, and they're going to come up with ideas. And in a lot of great football offices and a lot of great franchises, the best comes out of that. They say, what is it? Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
But guys are going to have their ideas and go at it, and based on personnel, and someone's going to win, someone's going to lose, but whatever it is, they're trying to get the best out of each other. You hope that can work with a guy like him and not go south when it goes south, which seems to be a bit of the case. But hey, man, there's too many guys saying nice things about him that I respect in this league.
Yeah.
So he is one of those guys that seems to be a bit confounding, and his career suggests that as well. If you're all in behind this and you're so psyched, then I think you're kind of a weirdo. But if you're just like, if you hate it and you're all out and that's the final line, then I think you're just as much of a weirdo. You got to give this thing a chance to shake out.
I loved him out of college. He was my favorite guy in that
He had a
draft.
hell of a
Quarterback.
couple of years.
And then he went to the Eagles, so you got to hate him. But
Yeah.
the
And he started to
board
prove that.
says he is an upgrade. I mean that
He is.
So these are people who are kind of like, but they're kind of like, but he's an upgrade, which is true. But also it's true. So we didn't pay a lot, in my opinion, and we'll get to the draft in a second. Why I don't and we don't think we paid a lot, honestly speaking, because that does play into it. But we upgraded at quarterback. We got a cost-controlled veteran. We still have Taylor Heineke. That situation is going to work out. With Carson Wentz at quarterback, you're almost certain. If you could put that prop bet down now, the Taylor Heineke plays. Hey, Rhett, you want that bet? Taylor Heineke plays in 23 for the
he's getting
Commanders.
run.
More than 30% of the snaps.
Oh, D, now you're talking my language. 30%, you say.
31%, because if Carson doesn't go
How many
70%,
games does Taylor Heineke start in 23?
if he doesn't do 70%, then the conditional pick moves
how
up.
many games does Taylor Heineke start in 23? Just tell me a number.
4.
Okay.
But before the FedEx truck comes to scoop up freaking the Carson Wentz, just like you had to get Fitzpatrick last year, let's just talk about the fact that the one major upgrade is this. And you guys know how much I love Heineke and his processing and blah, blah. Carson Wentz has a howitzer attached to his right shoulder. What he has attached to his arm, we have not seen. It's going to look different when we see it. When you see the ball come off his hand, and Terry McLaurin at camp is going to be like, holy hell. When you get thrown a changeup for a year and a half, and all of a sudden you got freaking Nolan Ryan showing up, this guy is going to make the defense defend way more, not just yards, but inches and feet of the field. That this game is a game of inches, and
they don't do that.
But I mean, no, you have got to defend all areas with this guy at the helm. I'm not saying he's Mr. Accurate, because that's one thing that chaps my ass about him, because he's incredibly accurate some weeks, and then the next week you don't know who you're watching. So he's going to chap our ass that way, but not in a Fitzpatrick interception way.
Yeah,
it's just more of a. He's going to throw a lot of flub balls. He's going to overthrow a lot of balls. He's going to put a lot of balls short. He plays the safe
like
game
a
that way.
Brunelli type of random
it
throws,
is.
just like worm burners.
He's got some, especially some McNabby to him.
Yeah.
You know, but McNabb didn't have this attached to his right part of his upper torso. This dude has a laser. And that's going to be fun to watch, you know. We'll see.
The other thing that is a mystery, because we don't know the answer to this, but we know the question. As much as we or any of us in general or anyone on the board really enjoyed Taylor Heineke and we'll be happy to see him come back and be part of this team going forward in some way, shape, or form. Like, if you watched every game, and we did, and I know a lot of you did, like, the connection wasn't there between Heineke and McLaurin. Like the spiritual whatever. Like, they weren't. It was like he threw a ton of balls at McLaurin because you have to.
Simpatico.
They just weren't
copacetic.
And you could see it in McLaurin's face. There was a little bit of his expiration at times. So there was a little bit of even turning to the cornerback at times, especially when he played Lattimore, and he was
precision.
You know that ball.
And I'm going to be the dick about it. It's because I just don't think you can get the timing right at that level with Heineke on a consistent basis.
Well, but either way, whether Wentz has a better chance, Wentz has a chance.
I
of
thought
doing it,
in terms of when the game was on the line and they needed a connection, they found it.
we just always threw to Terry McLaurin.
They're both great playmakers. That's where they click, but they weren't on the same page. They're not frick to frack. They're not. If they were partners, they would have had to have both put in for a different partner because that's just what it was. Because hey, Lattimore, when you're going up against your teammate or your guy that you want to dog out so badly, and your boys, and it's running routes is such a game of precision, and you are a surgeon, and you're Terry McLaurin, and you know this guy, you got him beat NFL style, and the ball wasn't thrown like an NFL quarterback typically throws it. It's frustrating you as a competitor and inside of your one-on-one. Not that Terry McLaurin is not a team guy, he is. But you got to win those matchups to win games, and you don't get so many opportunities, and it's got to frustrate him. Some of those times when the ball is thrown a little bit late, a little bit behind, a little
bit high.
It's frustrating for a guy like Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin
it's frustrating for us.
The best way to make Terry McLaurin your best friend as a quarterback is to make sure the balls are right there when he's supposed to know it's going to be there. And if he can count on you to do that,
hey, Haskins had a howitzer, but we both know he wasn't throwing that ball. All of us know he wasn't throwing that ball on time. Mm-hmm. So catching the ball is one thing. Catching it on time is another. This is going to be really interesting to see because if something comes out of this, hey, we talked about it. Not one 1,000-yard receiver in the history before this year, Pittman in Indianapolis, and a run for first offense that wanted to come out there and play D and run the ball. Pittman gets 1,000 yards. I think he had 130 or 140 targets. The next most from a wide receiver was like 60. So they banged the ball to Pittman,
Two running backs for 50-plus.
Other than that, he's never had a 900-yard receiver in the history of his career. Welcome, Terry McLaurin. Let's let Curtis Samuels run around and do what he does, and hopefully he comes out healthy. Yeah. Don't kill me bored, but I love the guy, man. I hate that he didn't play last year. I hate that the deal didn't go as well as it did for the first year of it. I cannot wait to watch him healthy this year. And with a guy with that big arm stretching the field, I know I'm not saying it's the greatest thing ever. I'm saying these things are real.
I want to thank
these things are real.
I want to thank you guys.
You're feeling better?
Yes, you've made me feel better.
And whether
Because you know why?
Yeah.
You know why? No. When you
welcome,
really
by the
think
way.
about
You're
it, it's not really any different than when we signed Fitzpatrick last year. He's fitting the same role, right? A veteran quarterback with the tools that can
Not
get
as
it
good of a
done,
beard, worse
with
beard.
people that are around him. I mean, I see it. I guess I see it.
Let me say this real quick.
I think there's light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe
There's like a
maybe.
15-year difference in age.
a little
by the way.
brighter.
No, he just reminded me of this. Last year, we all convinced
Totally embraced
ourselves
him.
to embrace the Fitz match. We didn't want that
We
style of
embraced the
play, but we
theory.
embraced the idea of it.
The idea of it.
And
And-
this
and it-
year,
this shouldn't be any
guy's
different.
This guy's legit 10 years younger.
But for the
That's a
lackluster
39-year-old dude last
charisma.
time. This is a 29-year-old dude. This dude's 29. He's played 6 seasons.
His body is older.
He
We broke his back. I'm just being
his
honest.
personally is older.
That's a broken back.
He's just
We broke it, I believe.
He's like the pastor at church.
Exactly.
And at the
Airline
end,
pilot.
he smiles and you smile, and you're both
Exactly.
glad that you were
We're
there.
gonna get a lot of God quotes. We're gonna
And
get a lot
hopefully
of
there's
Bible
a
quotes.
W
The
on the
captain's
We're gonna
scoreboard.
get a lot of
speaking.
Bible quotes. We're gonna
Look
get a
over
lot
to
of,
your left.
Hey, we
I'll
dealt
be
with Kirk
throwing it
Cousins.
wide.
Kirk Cousins,
He's kind of like that personality
so
wise.
Kirky.
He's kind of
$230 million now. He's up to $230 million
He's a
career
little
earnings.
That's an awesome one.
$230 million for Kirk Cousins.
59, 59, and 2 lifetime.
Unbelievable.
And 231 and some change. Is that? Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he's 230 plus. But
35 for this year. They were like, "Here you are," and he was like, "Hey." No wonder, man. You got to do the Christian Fellowship of Athletes. Bags of money fall and hit your average quarterback ass out of the sky.
I think that
He couldn't be more average. He's legitimately the most average
and $35 million.
$250 million quarterback of all time.
$35 million isn't that much anymore. If we're being honest, it's
get
on the
it.
borderline of just getting to the top thing, to the top level of these guys. The average. I mean, the average for Aaron now is 61. The average for I think Deshaun, his average is up there. But you have Mahomes. I mean, the same thing remains true now that did last year. There's still the bandwidth. I looked it up today. There's still only 2 quarterbacks in the entire NFL that right this very second count somewhere between $20 and $30 million of their team's cap. Now I know cap hits a different metric. I'll give you the average here in a second, but 2. There's a bunch above 30, and the rest of them are all below 20. In fact, there's a bunch that are below 15. Deadband. There's like this weird. You don't make between $20 and $30 million anymore, and so our guy's one of them. There's only 2. I would tell you the other here in a second, but like it's weird. Quarterback pay.
Could be Jared Goff. No, he's probably over 30.
It's probably over 30 now.
He probably is.
But so I think that's a win. Like if we got a veteran, we got an upgrade, and we're not paying that top tier 30 plus number, and in fact up to as much as twice that now. And also with gambling, the new contract that the new contracts that the NFL, and they've smartened up now. Everything doesn't come due now on the same day. Like I thought that was the weirdest thing. Like all of a sudden they're like, and we officially have no broadcast contracts at all. Okay, everybody, and it's like, wait, that seems weird. But so now it's like they'll do a deal with Amazon. They randomly have they'll do Monday night deals here, Thursday night deals there, Saturday night deals here. The gambling pushed the ratings so high that the salary cap is going to start to make $40 million quarterbacks seems pretty reasonable.
Well, God bless all those $40 million quarterbacks that are probably going to be sub 500 in the league and play about 80% of the games.
But everybody keeps saying it. Look at the playoff teams. What was the common theme? You got to have that guy. That guy is
the final
key
8 guys.
piece. He's the key piece to what you need to make it. And so he's going to demand whether he actually is that good or not. That position's going to demand that.
Yeah, and that's the part that many of the average football fans don't grasp. You're correct, sir. He is nowhere near as good. Like if you look at the numbers, you're going to be super pissed. Like when I was younger, I was like, "How does he in Major League Baseball? How does he make more than him? Are you?" And my dad was like, "Just slow down. Take it easy. It's not how it works. It's not how it works."
Yeah.
So yes, it does chap our ass, but you know what? I do like what Ken said. Life happens, shit happens, and if this is another big crap in our pants, we can change this diaper and get rid of it after 1 year.
1 year.
With only paying our quarterback less than the $30 million that Ken's talking about, which I'm not suggesting we should ever save salary cap money by extending him over the 3 years of the term. I'm saying there's lots of options with this contract. That's all. With no dead money and no dead cap money after this season, Brilliant.
Here you go. So Tannehill is basically at 30. We're calling him 30. Garoppolo 27.5. Stafford 27. Derek Carr 25. Tom Brady 25. That's it. That's the list. That's your average annual value of contract between 20 and 30 million dollars. That's nothing. Then you got a nice big. But you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys above it. 4 guys there. That's your top half of the league in terms of money. So this isn't a point to make Carson Wentz seem more attractive, but it's also like, all right, we were willing to give up picks and players to pay Russell Wilson, $35 million a year. People are going to be willing to pay Deshaun Watson $39 million a year, and they're going to give up picks and players. We would love to go all in on a guy. And
we tried.
We tried
to pay market value
Yep.
for a veteran quarterback, which is all we were told we were going to try and do. This is the one thing I want to say about this regime. They're not lying. Mayhew stepped up and said he was sorry about Brendan Sheriff, you bag-chasing son of a bag chaser. I mean, seriously, you want to win a championship. So you go to Jacksonville, you dumb shit. Come on, man. You freaking... God, man, whatever.
They're a laughing stock. Now maybe they'll get better, but
Doug Peterson will make them better.
maybe he'll be a
come
stepping,
on,
a cornerstone in doing that. But
Oh,
that's such a crappy place right now.
I don't get anything to do with that one. But
How about this? All right, let's say some goodbyes. My
Goodbye.
biggest, as much as I love J.D. McKissick, and I do love J.D. McKissick, I was torn between Tim Settle and Brandon Sheriff, only because I love Brandon Sheriff and I wanted him, but I didn't think we had a chance at him. I feel like Tim Settle was on the precipice of doing something.
He earned
paid a
that.
fourth.
I know.
tackle.
He earned that
I know.
himself.
He sure did.
I think we were kind of getting spoiled with him, and we were
Agree.
lucky to have him for the time that we had him. But he outplayed the backup role. I think he deserves a shot. He
Can't pay your
deserves a
fourth
shot to be-
tackle,
yeah,
but he's a stud.
he deserves a
Oh,
shot
that's
to get
true.
it, and we just couldn't afford that.
Yep. Got to keep
So
going.
it
That's one
sucks.
position we've drafted well.
It hurts, especially when we talk about how there's like Deron Payne or somebody could be on a trading block.
Well, not right now.
Now we don't have the depth because we were all banking on.
And
Settle
with
being
him, we
there.
have the depth. With him, we're deep. We have Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne as your starting two. In Iron Man coming on behind there. You're going to draft a guy. You're doing just fine.
All right, well, you glanced right over J.D. McKissick, so I just want to say one thing.
I miss
Trivia
him.
question. We've loved this guy for 2 years.
Yep.
We all have. The board, the gentleman right here. What does J.D. stand for in J.D. McKissick? Because I know one thing, we've never said it on this show, and that's shocking to me. What does J.D. stand for in J.D. McKissick? We've all just always acknowledged J.D. was what it was.
Yep.
And we've never, ever
gonna take
gone
a
down
guess.
the rabbit hole.
Is it John David?
No, I'm not going to just come with some, bargain.
You're probably John David. I thought it'd be like
I
a
know.
cool.
I'm going
It
to go
would
the
be.
other route
That
and
was-
say that
yeah.
his actual name is just JD.
No, you're both wrong. You guys tried. I'll give you the first. The first name is Joshua.
Joshua
Okay.
Dawes.
Joshua Dawes. You get one crack at it. You'll never get it. How have we never said this? Joshua Dobby McKissick. Dobbie. Dobby?
No.
Is that Dobby?
Jack Daniels was a great guess.
I would love that. That would have been way cooler. Sorry. I always wait. I'm not patient enough for the board. To the board, I apologize.
baby.
I have ADD. Joshua Dobie McKissick never gets said until he's gone. Well, I'm sorry about that, JD. And I'm also sorry that we're losing you, but I did not want to pay $8 million for you.
We got him on such a steal.
Well, here's what we
basically-
did, and I love it. 'cause
Super
you,
value.
You, I knew you would love this, so let me say it because this is a Ken Marangolo statement. Super value. He had never had $1 million contract. Not only did we sign him to $1 million contract, we gave him a $1 million signing bonus. When you think about numbers thrown around in the NFL, this was a guy that never had a chance. No one thought. He knocked around for 5 or 6 teams. We found him. 123 receptions, 7 touchdowns, and I think 1,500 yards from scrimmage later. On that, we eventually paid him $3 million.
Yeah.
It was a 2-year, $2 million deal with a $1 million signing bonus. We got more value out of that guy than anybody got out of any position in the NFL. And now he's gone and not only doubled, but almost tripled his salary from us. So now we've found someone blossomed underneath of us, and we've sent him off to make money. That is one of the best signs of the program changing directions.
And it factors into, not that anyone wants to hear about this right now, and we're not doing a compensatory pick show, I promise you, but that matters. When you develop
Sure does
someone
with
who
Sheriff.
does,
Because there's
and with Sheriff as well.
Because now you're
Sheriff
talking
will get a
about
third
free
rounder.
agency. Now somebody who could fit that same role says, well, shit, if he did it there, maybe I can go do it there.
Also, another great reason why we didn't sign Carson Wentz for $28 million. We traded for him for $28 million.
Right.
Our incoming signees, signatories,
It's an import-export.
it's an import-export business, straight out of Costanzaville. So,
God, I hate that I handed that off to you.
but you're being in the business of getting good players, them playing well for you, and then going elsewhere. I mean, not only was this the last stop on the tour for quite a few players in the last 20 years, it was the last stop on player. It was the stop after their last stop somewhere
After
else.
the farewell tour.
Yeah, they already stopped somewhere else, and then they
Right.
kind of meandered to Washington for another couple seasons. So
A moonlight.
This is good.
A spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think no one will ever get more value out of J.D. McKissick than Ron Rivera did and turned him into the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And 80 receptions. He had never had more than 34. That's a success story. We shouldn't have to pay $8 million for him after a neck injury, and just because he was. I mean, it's just. I'm sorry, but the position does not require you to chase those dollars. It just
especially
does
when you have a
not.
Gibson who you may or may not want to invest in, but you're
Holy
not giving.
shit.
You can't give McKissick the money and not McLaurin or Gibson in that offense right
No,
now.
you can't. You can't have $8 million put aside for a guy who's. I'm sorry, and people on the board are going to hate it. He's a bit of a toy. I'm not saying he wasn't
He's
effective
a
and
super
amazing
luxury,
for us,
super luxury item.
and he was great for us, especially when a bunch of our other weapons went down. But you can't just say, "Hey, these other guys are going to go down. We need to sign J.D. McKissick for 2
I think
years
that's
and
I think
$7
that's
million
defending not making an
so.
offer, Greg. I think that's the reason why you don't do it. I think that money had to be earmarked for other
You
stuff.
heard today that they were bummed
No,
out they
maybe
didn't
if
get
he's
a
like a
chance after the Buffalo deal, that they didn't get a chance with the agent to counteroffer. I think that was just us saying, yes, we appreciated it, but I didn't want that. I didn't, and I
No.
love the guy, man. I do, but there's. We've talked about our weaponry, where it needs to come from, where it hasn't come from for the last 20 years.
Yep.
So, man, well, we'll get to that eventually, but
But you look at a guy like Sproles, right, who made a career out of that sort of position, but he also contributed on special teams and was a huge returner and stuff like that. He could have demanded a little bit more, money. McKissick just didn't do that for us, right? He was that's a lot of money for the role he had. Yeah.
it's hard because it's great. That was one of the hardest decisions, I think. And I hate to see him go. He was awesome. Dude was awesome. Joshua Doby, you son of a bitch. I feel like we
it's-
barely knew you. Didn't even know your real D part or the J.
The D or the J. That is correct.
Thank God I followed up with that J thing, or else it could have gotten weird.
You kept it real. It looks like we're at $5.5 million currently of cap space. Check out with what you guys are seeing.
Well, have we done any tinkering yet?
I don't think we've done
because-
much tinkering.
Well, we don't really.
We have some tinkering ways. We have the league average is 13 million, so we're just slightly below that in terms of space available right now.
Apparently, if Eric Flowers wants to sit down and be extended, that can happen.
Yep.
Apparently, that frees up X amount. There's a couple different ways to get a couple bucks, but
Yeah, you can pull millions from Wentz if you want it and or need it.
Yeah.
13, I believe, right? Or some crazy. You
I
can pay-
don't
you can
know if
pay a
you
ton.
ask him for that right off the jump, because he's basically playing essentially on a one-year deal, and his camp's not going to be, unless they guarantee a deal, a year.
But we can convert part of that $28 million to signing bonus without his anything. He gets the money no matter what.
No, because $5 million of that 28 was signing bonus that we incurred,
Yep.
and I think that stops us from treating anything else as a signing bonus.
But we get 23 of it though, right?
Maybe.
I mean,
but
we can convert it to signing bonus. He's still,
we can convert the whole contract to a signing bonus.
but
yes.
it then amortizes over 3 years, and then if
Yes.
if he shits the bed or breaks
Right.
down, we break him and we cut him at the end of the season. Then we have dead money. Right now we're in a situation where it's a 1 year, fling. It's a straight up fling.
I don't know. He shishes. How many times he shishes the bed?
He might
Yeah,
shish
in,
the
in-
bed,
in an average year.
but that's why you wash your ass.
Damn, I mean, it's why you try your best.
Well, let's talk about the draft then, because and please do us a huge favor. Click on that First Amendment Sports subscription button. We appreciate it. If we say something you like, give us a like. Hit the notifications for when we go live. It's every Tuesday night. We'll be right here in the basement, hanging out, waiting for you guys to talk about the Washington Commanders. I want to talk. I have two things still written down here. One of them is the draft. The other one is a topic that we won't spend a lot of time on if people don't want to. I don't think people do, but I'm not going to let it go. I do believe the Washington Commanders are for sale. I think the team is on the market right this very second. I believe that the NFL and or financiers and bankers are in the process of figuring that shit out right this very second, and I do expect to see this team sold. Now, I could be a complete dreamer. I could be living in the Matrix and I just completely, and I don't see anything, the world around me, I don't understand anything. That's what I believe is happening. I'm being dead honest. I hope to God that's happening. I pray that's happening, but I actually also believe that's happening. So take it for what it's worth. That's got me in a good mood lately.
Yeah, I think when you have too many skeletons, eventually the pile gets too hard to maintain.
One
And
too many bones, you say, Strachan?
I think your hope might be lying with that in this day and age of cancel culture, Me Too, and all the stuff that's going on, and what's really the stank that's kind of hanging out, the stank cloud that's hanging out over this organization right now.
Yeah, and Mary Jo White's working.
It makes sense.
Her pencil is not down.
It makes sense.
He is currently being investigated by the woman who walked out Jerry Richardson.
Yeah.
That's not meaningless.
You don't get to hide things anymore.
No, you don't
just
get to hide things, but there's also, so
There's no old man's club that's got everybody's back anymore.
So
This
talk.
This isn't.
This aspect of it is fascinating. So people can call me a moron, an idiot, and I totally respect that, I guess. But there's all kinds of tertiary facets of this that do kind of, if you want to go down those roads, the stadium road, okay? Greg's thinking that the name change wouldn't have happened and the stadium deal would have to happen. So first of all, I don't think Dan Snyder gives a small pile of Fs what anyone thinks about anything in general. And for him to hire the people that he's hired over the last couple of years, to name the team what he did, to retire Sean Taylor's number on a drop of a hat whim, like all these things, none of these things mean anything to him, clearly. And all I can say about the name change is it was part of a distraction technique, and he carried it through to the end. And it took him 2 years to do, just so we're clear. We didn't just change the name. We had 2 years of a random
He didn't
name.
even really carry it to the end.
He didn't really even carry it to the end. And
sort of
so
limped
everything
it
about it was
along.
botched.
He's
and
still
terrible.
not done.
Everything about it was
Then
terrible.
it looked like he came off an 11-day bender to announce this to the world.
So the body language is also a thing. Like, he looks like he's completely not there. But the stadium deal. So there's the people that you're going after now, like, they have enough money to pull off stadiums. Like, we can you know what, let's not throw out names right now. I don't want to do the name game yet for owners, but I do want to do it in a couple weeks. I do want to say if it hasn't already been sold, because there's guys out there who they have the money and the connections and the know-how and the whatever it takes to build a concrete, place for football players to play. I mean, come on.
Yes.
So there's no need for a stadium deal to make this franchise any more valuable. I would, in fact, argue that if you let Dan Snyder negotiate the stadium deal, he loses value. If within freaking Dale City or out in the middle of nowhere, like that's less value. Your maximum value is having a guy come in and have the actual chance to do it.
Snyder's like, so the cheerleaders cannot be on jet skis around the moat. Check. Got it.
Cheerleaders on jet skis around the moat.
Bikinis? No.
That's the way it goes.
Sorry, Mr. Snyder, but
And to Greg, if the new guy wants a new name, he'll get a new name. I believe that too. But at the end of the day, all I'm saying is I don't
Has
think
that ever happened at a professional sports level? A team changes its name that quickly?
I would bet everything that the answer to that question is yes. But give me a chance to provide some backup documentation.
the Washington Amazons. Bring it.
Yeah, well, I don't care.
Let's freaking go. I don't give a dang at this point. We've called them all kinds of other shit for the last 30 years. Let's just go. The Washington Amazons, baby. Can you imagine? Oh, man.
I think it's happening.
We've always said it was a jungle down there.
It's a rowdy. It's a
Rowdy
bunch.
bunch.
Rowdy bunch. That's where they hang. All my rowdy bunches here on Tuesday night. I will say that the draft, moving away from the owner, I know people don't want to talk owner every week, and I appreciate that, and I respect that. But we're going to talk about it because we do still want Dan Snyder to sell the team, and it needs to be said and repeated and kept out there. But it also shouldn't take us fully away from talking about what I think is the draft catastrophe in this this organization.
Offensively, in the last 20 years, yes.
So this ties a nice knot, draws a nice line between the first topic of the night
A balloon knot?
and this
It's more like a balloon knot.
balloon knot.
Yes.
Why trading 2/3, potentially a second and a third for Carson Wentz is not nearly as costly as you might actually think it is because of who we've drafted at quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end. All skill positions, first and second round, last 20 years. 20 years.
2002. This one's for the board. All right, just specifically for the board only. This is a board-only question. In the last, since the 2003 draft, all right, this excludes the 2002 draft. 2003, moving forward, we have drafted a grand total of 4 wide receivers in the first or second round. In the first or second round. I will tell you what their total production amounts to. 179 receptions, 2,225 yards, and 12 touchdowns.
Combined career.
Combined. Those are career numbers for us.
4 people.
Four guys that we are. So that is for the board. Now, also for the board and us, in that same amount of time, we have 9 total offensive weapons that we've drafted. 9 total offensive weapons that we've drafted.
Quarterback, inclusive of those 4 wide receivers?
Yes, excluding those 4 wide in
Okay.
your answer. Because that's, I'm sick of the board getting dogged.
Yeah, board. So that's you got 4 wide receivers, 4 quarterbacks.
Yes. No, 3 quarterbacks.
Oh yeah. The fourth one.
Now,
was
Patrick Ramsey was 2002. Liddell Betts was 2002. What they
Doxson,
did was far
yes,
superior to who we're talking
Westbrook.
about.
No, Michael Westbrook was drafted in 1979.
That doesn't say a whole lot.
No, he was.
Yeah, name them. I gave you their combined stats. You got to name who they are, and then think about
Fred Davis. Yes, offensive weapon. So we have a Fred Davis and we have a Josh Doxson so far.
We got Doxson.
No quarterbacks or running backs have been thrown out there yet. Devin Thomas, Malcolm Kelly, correct the 18.
Yes.
Fred Davis, Devin Thomas, Malcolm Kelly, all drafted in the second round after Deshaun Jackson. Could have had Deshaun Jackson.
Could have been a contender. Here we go. Doxson has been circled as well.
Devin Thomas, Malcolm Kelly have been served. Yes. Fred Davis. Yes. Josh Doxson. Yes. How about some quarterbacks? We've drafted quarterbacks in the top of the draft multiple times in the last 20 years. Not as bad as Heath Schuler. Thank God.
That's true.
We've done better than the 1994. That was 94, right?
One of these guys was 1 pick before Aaron Rodgers. Talk about a boner stab.
Liddell Betts. You are correct, sir.
Well, Betts is the 2002 class.
2002.
But we will accept that. We will accept that general
RG3. Yes.
Redskin knowledge.
There's your first
So
quarterback.
there's your first quarterback off the board. Obviously, RG3.
McCarrions? I don't think so, Greg.
Wow. First or second round, there was no Darnarius.
You're talking about Darnarian McCants?
I'm talking about first
Colt
or second.
Brennan? No,
Every
okay,
single
chance.
one of these people were drafted in the first or second round. Our Washington arms movement since 2003 includes, so far, Doxson, RG3, Devin Thomas, Fred Davis, and Malcolm Kelly. Offensively, draft speaking, there's only 4 other guys that we drafted in the first 2 rounds in the last 19 drafts.
Jason Campbell, yes.
Yes, there we go, Campbell. We entered an arms race with no arms or legs and definitely no hands.
Another
What the
quarterback,
hell?
recent,
We were going to bite
big
people to
recent.
death is what we were going to do.
Very recent.
There's a receiver, a running back, and a quarterback that I haven't heard from the board yet or from anyone around here, but we actually talked about it, so let's let it go. Not the board. The board's going to get this, but the idea of how depressing this is just,
Not Taylor Jacobs.
yes, Taylor Jacobs. 2003, second round draft choice.
Big time AGH, by the way. Big time AGH. Ovechkin, 766. Take the
All
lead
right,
over
Haskins
the
goes
Islanders.
down, so there's only one gentleman left.
And he was
Yes, we have said Haskins,
running
Doxson,
back.
RG3, Campbell, Taylor Jacobs, Malcolm Kelly, Fred Davis, Devin Thomas. We went to a freaking gunfight with a pea shooter, with a potato gun.
And the last guy
with
that
a
no one on this
squirt
board has
gun.
said, we sat here the night he
Nerf
was
gun.
drafted. Kevin and
Fred-
I did a show in the basement the night the last guy we're talking about here that hasn't been said yet, and we got siced about this guy. He
I
fell
was
to
very
us.
excited.
Not Hanky. This guy fell to us. He was a first round
The
talent.
great unknown.
Not Hankerson. This was a running back in recent days.
Candle in the wind.
And he was recently, I believe, cleared of all charges. That might actually be true.
How that happened is a miracle.
Yep. No, not Bryce Love. Bryce Love was
Bryce
late.
Love's going to be a doctor somewhere.
Yeah.
Like a
Rhymes with? Yeah, Geis. There you go. Darius. Juice.
yeah, man. So think about that lack of production. And in the last 19 drafts, the quarterbacks, RG3, Jason Campbell, Haskins, receivers, Doxson, Tevin Thomas, Malcolm Kelly, Taylor Jacobs, tight end, Fred Davis, and running back, Darius Geis. I mean, it's hard to get less production.
That's awful.
It's a hard group to digest. That's 19 years of first and second round offensive drafting weaponry. Mm-hmm. We have really, really not had a freaking chance, and we've relied upon free agency and terrible trade. I don't know what the hell has happened, but that is right there. That exposes so much of the reasons why we haven't scored points. You've got to
And who was in
develop talent
charge?
within. These guys have to grow up
gets- who
together
gets- who
in a
gets-
culture that teaches them
Who
the
gets
right
the
way
credit
to do
for
it.
the majority of those guys?
Holy
That's
shit.
Serrato and Bruce Allen for the most part.
Two of the
McLovin
biggest-
was in there, though. McLovin was in
Yeah,
there.
Doxson, McLovin's a Doxson
Yeah.
Geis, right?
Two of
And,
the
yeah.
biggest pieces of
What's that?
two worst GMs.
Haskins.
Just
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
So-
we have done it well in the third round. I'm not going to argue
So,
that. Third
you could-
round.
But in a world where people are dropping 2 and 3 first round picks, which, by the way, 3 first is the most you can give anyone at all, ever, but legally.
We treated that shit like crypto. We were so
Yeah.
nervous to get a good guy. We're like, oh, we'll just throw a little gambling.
And
money
Serrato, this is the other hidden joy to this trade. I know the third could turn into a second, but right now it's not. Right now it's 2/3. There was a time when Vinny Serrato he tipped the valet second rounders. He was leaving second rounders on the table at Ruth's Chris. He was leaving. He autographed second rounders and gave them to babies as he was walking down the street. He had zero regard for second round picks. They were out the door as fast as they came in, and we got nothing out of it. Like third rounders, I'm like, we got a veteran quarterback for third rounders. All right, that's a huge evolution for us.
Everyone's shooting threes these days. Forget about it. It's a step back three. Hey, if you tip Fred Davis, I'm standing at the bar all night. that sounds like it's going to be some fun. I mean, Devin Thomas, he was a little too fancy, but I think Malcolm was a freestyle genius. Devin wanted to be a rapper model.
Model.
Right?
Yeah. Kevin Ewald, by the way, happy birthday. He had a picture of a shirtless Devin Thomas hanging from his bedroom door, which was something we put there.
All right.
for
Well, I
him.
was gonna wish you a happy birthday as well, but
No, we did that to him. We did that to him.
That's fair.
Malcolm Kelly, I don't know what he wanted to be. I don't think he was a wide receiver, though. I still don't know what he actually wanted to be because it wasn't a wide receiver.
Yeah. No, he was always he was hurt as hell.
I mean, we
always.
drafted him hurt.
Yeah.
That's the best part
He had
about
a
it.
degenerative knee, and it stayed degenerative.
They're like,
from what I
they
understand.
said, Vinny,
It stayed that way.
He's got a
it never
degenerative
didn't.
knee.
Yes.
I'm optimistic. I think he's going to come back. You know what? Can we regenerate it?
Bone on bone down there, Serrato. He had the goggly things. They're like,
Forget it.
let's draft 3 of these sons of bitches. The craziest motherfucker
No
in all the land.
We got this.
I want a model, a freestyle rapper, and it's just a crazy ass son of a bitch.
Dude,
Let's
was
do it. They're all
the
gonna be
biggest
fast.
3 middle fingers you could give your fans because we were like, we need a wide receiver, and he's like, really? Really? All right. I'm just going to draft them all. Anyone that's just give me all the available wide receivers in this round and Fred Davis.
When the whole discussion was
Sleepy.
about the chalice, he had a designated chalice, a pimp chalice that had his name on it and diamond crusted, and it was a whole. And that's what he would only drink with that. The clubs read, so he always had to have his chalice.
Gotta have chalice.
I thought that was amazing that like everyone knew this also.
kind of like a spit cup. Like
Yes.
you had one.
Greg,
cup,
one
and
round.
He
spit
needed.
cup.
He only drank
One
from
round, the second
chalice.
round, all of them.
And he also, I think him and Blotch got into a fist fight at John's school one year.
Yeah, Greg
That was
Blotch.
tough.
Watch.
Andre Bloch from the Wizards.
Andre.
It was a John school
You're right.
scenario. They
You're
both
right.
had to go to John school, and I was like, "What the hell? I better Google this." And by the way, if you're gonna Google that, if you're gonna Google what John school is, also Google why chainsaws exist. Oh God, that's Ken's idea. Just do it.
You need
just,
chainsaws.
just do it. Oh Jesus, don't do it. Don't do it. I lied. It's freaking horrible. Don't do it right
Don't
now
do it.
either.
Don't.
Rhett-
By the way,
Rhett did
if
it.
you
I
were
can't-
typing it in your computer,
Yeah, I
stop.
can't.
Rhett just did it.
We're on a delay. We're on a delay. I don't know if
I'm
we
gonna
were
need
able to
pour
bleep
one.
it. We did not kill that round. We were killed in that round,
Oh,
Greg.
God.
That round at the bar. All right, so we have a very little bit amount of money to spend currently, based on my recent late math, and also we have a lot of spots to fill. Let me ask you this: is there any chance Allen Robinson comes here?
No.
Okay. Any chance?
We've tried to get him here so many times before, right?
Would you rather draft? This is a lightning round kind of quick hitter style. Would you rather
Lightning
draft
round, remember
Kobe
that?
Dean in the first round, or make a play for? And I'm not saying they play the same position, but if you're going to spend the money on like a Miles Jack or a,
We don't even know if Miles Jack can play the middle yet. So
I understand. I'm the Kobe Dean at number 11. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm living right now.
Yeah, I think that's a reach. He's a good player, but 5'11" in this passing league is tough.
I'm not a guy. I know. Well, he's listed at 6 foot, obviously, Kevin. But my podcast listing is 6'3".
It's true.
It's true.
Mine is well, I'm not going to say what I was about to say. So, T, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No,
Good.
not to that.
So I do like Nakobe Dean, but I also think that at number 11, based on getting Carson Wentz and based on the way that this draft's going to fall, not going quarterback in the draft, that you're going to get a
I'm
linebacker,
intrigued in moving the pick.
cornerback. Okay, well, so double back there real fast, because all I'm saying is at number 11, the beauty of it being a place where someone might want to trade up is there's going to be a quarterback there that's available that we're not going to want. There's going to be one of the two best linebackers there, what we might want. There's going to be one of the 2 to 3 best, maybe 2 to 4 best cornerbacks
There's
available.
gonna be all
at number
kinds
11.
of cornerback right there.
A lot of cornerback right there, and there might be one of the best 3 wide receivers. Because in that top 11, you're going to get offensive linemen, you're going to get edge rushers, and you're going to get a lot of them. Yeah, and then you're going to get your number 1 guys like a Kyle Hamilton safety, and maybe that top wide receiver. But like that's it. Like everything falls to us at 11. So trading back becomes a huge possibility.
And all edge rushers who always jump up last day, all offensive tackles who always jump up last second, all quarterbacks, I do believe. I don't think we're in the mark. All the guys, we're going to be sitting on one of the top available. If the safety from Notre Dame is available, I'm sorry, man. I just love the dude. I don't know if he fits into his 6'4" ass fits into our freaking, but he is such a freaking specimen of athlete. I love him. He's the best safety available. If Kyle Hamilton drops there, you got to think about it.
I mean, if I would 100% think about Kyle
You have
Hamilton,
to.
but I don't believe he drops there.
Right?
I think
get it.
I think he's
get
top
it.
5.
I get it. I think he's a top 5 athlete in this
Yeah.
draft. But I'm saying you're going to get your pick of one of the top 2 cornerbacks, the top safety, a receiver if they're in the mix, maybe the top, maybe the second or third receiver. That's huge. There's going to be 3 or 4 offensive linemen that go from what we've looked at. We all done a recency bias.
There's
the
3
last couple
tackles
weeks
that
on
everyone
this.
wants,
Yes.
like badly. They'll start them right
course.
on day 1.
And you know what happens with the quarterbacks? Everyone hits the panic
Yeah.
button, and there's teams that need and teams that
and
decide.
they're not jumping up. Those quarterbacks, the only reason the team's trading up into the top 7 is because they're trying to beat someone else. They're not trying to get to the place where the quarterback belongs. Like nobody is
That
trading.
market is set and reset throughout the course of the night.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like people
Yes.
are only like, I'm only trying to get ahead of you. You know, I'm only trying to. I'm looking at a team that is in love with an offensive tackle and an edge rusher, and would be willing to drop down to 12, 13, 14. And the only reason why I'm trying to make that move up is because I think you're going to make that move up too. And then the next guy is locked in on
What
someone.
are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
I know.
So-
I love it.
So
love
trading
What Are You
back,
Doing All
our
Night.
number 11, this has been our best trade back potential in years, and it's all because of quarterbacks that no one wants in the top 10, which is something we haven't seen in forever. And we've been drafting between like 12 and 18, that middle of the first round religiously.
Yes.
And it's a terrible place to trade back from.
It's awful.
I wanted to say the whole time, I couldn't agree more. This is the time that we can trade. It's always fun to say, I'd like to trade back. I'd always like to trade back and stockpile picks.
I always hate the discussion,
This is-
for some reason, this is the one where it
Because,
makes the most sense.
I agree a billion. Let's get one of them threes back, first of all. Secondly,
Yep.
let's do something smart. Let's make it a 2. Let's do
Well, we're going to
Somebody's
get
gonna-
a first next year because someone's going to want to jump up in the first round. So that's automatically a first next year plus a second plus a third.
I
That's
was
what
going
you're
to say,
getting.
just replenish the 3.
Yeah.
Because that 3 pick is that's our shit. Let's not get any 2s. Let's get as many 3s as possible and stockpile the crap out of them, and then get all our receivers there because apparently that's what happens.
2
for
first round picks though. Remember the last time we had that?
us. I do. Was that LeVar and
Chris Samuels.
Chris Samuels, yeah. That was great.
was
But
great.
it's awesome when someone hands that to you and they're like, and that year it was the Browns are taking a quarterback and a defender.
Yep.
And
By the way, the Eagles and the Giants have all the first round picks. By the way, I
know,
believe
this is
between the
some-
two of those teams,
that's some
they have them
dirty shit.
all, and it's really hurting me on the Philadelphia side. Obviously,
But it's a shitty draft, which makes me happy.
it makes me super happy about that. And also, the Giants are hot trash. They have no idea what they're doing. I'm convinced that not only was I overestimating Daniel Jones for all this time. I've been overestimating him, and I don't know why. Today I did my Kevin Rickett deep dive in quarterbacks.
Daniel Jones.
No. Just I decided I'm going to rank my top 35 quarterbacks. And we're not going to break it down on the show. We're going to come back and do that next week.
35 is an obscure number to hit.
Well, because my belief is there's not 32 good ones. There's not 32 ones there's no musical chair game of quarterbacks in this league.
There's not 32 good ones, so I'm going to make a list of 35.
Yeah, I want to know because the last couple of seats in the musical chairs game, they're getting, it's your Taysom Hills and your Marcus Mariotas and, you're just total randos, Teddy Bridgewaters and, but Daniel Jones is, I think, in that range. So first of all, his accuracy is really not that great. So I was looking at a combination of age, accuracy, average cap hit, and I was putting these guys in buckets, and I was like, holy shit! Like no wonder New York Giants are thinking about jumping ship from this guy, or at least moving on to someone to compete with him.
They were until the new regime just gave him the blessing.
I don't understand that.
Well, I mean, I don't either, but they gave it to him.
Yeah, they did. I know. That's what makes me happy about the.
And it's the Green Bay dude.
The
The Buffalo
Mannings
dude
and
that everyone
Cutcliffe.
loves.
The
It's
Mannings
Josh
and
Allen's guy,
Cutcliffe.
which is,
The Mannings and Cutcliffe did something for that dude.
yeah, they invited him to camp and took a bunch of pictures like the
Yeah.
Kardashians
They
would.
took
did
pictures of
something.
them.
The Mannings
to get
got
him-
Kardashian
to get
style,
him the confidence that the Giants gained.
Well, he also at the combine, he's a freak. So
is.
So he mechanically computed properly, and
There you go, Daniel Jones, 24 years old. He's got 64% career accuracy. He's $8.3 million is his cap hit. He's got a higher annual average, but I don't.
average length and girth. What is this?
I'm telling you, deep dive.
Damn it.
Deep dive. Our guy Carson Wentz.
He's got a column for hand.
I got him down low. I got him in my 20 to 30 bucket, but he's 62.4 career percentage. He's obviously that 28.2 cap hit, which is also his average because that's what we're paying him. He's 29 years old. He stacks up higher than his
Bibles?
His area. Yeah, he stacks up higher than his Bibles. By the way, for someone who I feel like I follow the league pretty closely, I know we all do. I mean, I had Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins on the weirdo scale way higher than Carson Wentz. But it's
No, I think that would be a weird trio that would have a lot of fun with each other.
they bring in the weirdness, is what you're
Yeah.
saying. Okay. I mean, hey,
A lot of insinuations going on after a couple cocktails.
I think the three of them would enjoy a car ride together, but nobody else would.
Nobody
want
else.
to get in that car.
Nobody else.
Oh, amen, brother. Amen. It is.
So I'm happy about.
Snooze brothers.
The little
This
old
is gonna
lady
be
down the street
terrible.
might want to ride. I don't know.
I'm building this out,
be nice.
Kevin,
It's
and
a
I'm going
church.
to send it over to you
Yeah,
because I got
probably
4 more columns coming, and then we're going to break it all the way down because Not just about.
Can you specifically delete that column?
I can't.
That was
can't.
unnecessary for my.
I thought it was unnecessary at first, but wait till you see how it phalanges.
I don't like the phalange or the shape of that.
It's all about cap
to be
hit.
fair.
Cap hit can be measured in multiple ways, from the base of the shaft all the way around the entire cap, the entirety of the cap. So I would. Shiitake. I would love to spend a little bit more time, and this is why I feel more liberated to do this, because I wanted to really look at this, because there's been, in my opinion, and you can measure it average annual, you can measure it.
Are you listening to what you were saying?
I know, measuring it a variety of ways. There's this area where quarterbacks don't get paid, and it's weird to me.
That was the only safe part. Sorry.
Thank you. I'm trying to stay safe.
I think it's a calendar punch clock thing.
No.
Daylight savings.
There's just you could just cup the one or two guys who are in that $20 million range. So I want to break it all out. Because also now that we have the Carson Wentz and we know our fate on the short term, we still have to put all our chips in the middle of the table at some point in the very near future, if we're lucky enough to do so. We have tried to do it, but the search for a franchise quarterback continues. It doesn't appear that we're going to get there this year, and that's okay.
He wasn't available.
Wasn't available. I think we made a lemonade out of some lemon.
Hello.
Yeah, there was none. The store ran out.
There's none.
COVID, the supply.
Supply chain demand.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it was.
Ran out of good quarterbacks.
That's exactly what happened. Everyone was like, "Oh, DC, that corridor? Nah, man. No."
Top 10 weirdo quarterbacks is a ranking people want to have next week. We'll work on that.
I love that.
That's a good
love
one.
it.
There's-
No,
How do you
but
define
we
weirdo?
have to determine. No, that's the thing. We have to determine a few categories, but I think we should do that on our own.
Yeah, of course.
Because like Jim McMahon's in a weirdo category.
Oh, you're going
So
all time?
absolutely.
Yeah, okay, all time. I'm putting Jeff George
I'm just
Oh yeah.
in the
Jeff George is
dumpster
got
of
to
them all.
be. I mean, look. It depends on what you quantify as weirdo. Is Broadway Joe a hero for trying to French kiss poor Susie Colbert on national television like 13 times? No, that was creepy and weird. I was like, go away.
But
He
wasn't
was
creepy
pretty
and
cool.
weird
He
at
was
the
pretty
time?
cool in his day. He
Bro,
just became
that
a
was
creepy
the
old
old
man.
guy at the freaking club.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, if he
got
did
cre-
that,
he got creepy in his older age.
all of a sudden,
have
one
you
too
thought about
many.
that?
and he was-
If he pulled,
stuff
if
that
that
flew-
happened today, like he'd be in jail.
The stuff that
I know.
flew for
Jail.
Yeah, the stuff that flew for Broadway Joe back in the day just don't fly.
But it's not even
anymore.
back in the day. That was like 7 years ago. That was like, I mean,
They
like,
don't fly anymore. That's what
That's
I'm saying.
true, that's
The
true. It doesn't
Broadway
fly
Joe.
anymore.
Yeah.
like I just want to kiss you, and then make a move on a sideline reporter.
Back in
on
the
live
70s,
TV.
dude,
All right,
that was
so
like,
here's
Like
the
that's
deal.
nuts. And
That
it's
was
amazing.
money.
So one category will be the top 10 current weirdest
Yes.
quarterbacks.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
That saves a lot of, I mean, like Otto Graham used to. Never mind. Like there's
Does Derek Carr wear eyeliner? Does it look like he wears? I think he does. I think it's weird.
Do you think he,
think he
like
wears
eyeliner
eyeliner.
like from the night before, like
Yeah.
from party he went to,
Yeah.
or is it
Or maybe he puts it on for the game.
like hairband, like Poison style.
like glam rock?
yeah.
All right. I mean, Derek Carr would look great with like a glam rock out. You know.
Aaron Rodgers. Sorry, I just felt the need to say that.
Yeah, I mean, what
we haven't
happened to
said
him?
that yet. Like he's on.
He's top five. He's top five.
Oh,
weirdest.
he's in the list. All right, let's not ruin the list. Let's not ruin the list.
not
I'm
ruin
sorry.
the list.
I just thought when I read weirdest
of
current
material.
QBs and Aaron Rodgers' name hasn't
Hey,
been
I
said
put a
yet.
picture on our thing tonight. I mean, that you talk about free agents that we signed that worked out really well, who are freaking weirdos.
You know what year is that right there?
That's got to be 77 or 8, 77, 78, something like that. On Hogs Haven, but welcome to everyone from Hogs Haven. Thank you guys for being with us tonight. We signed a free agent back in the late 70s who might be what may go down as the weirdest and greatest player that's ever suited up for the burgundy and
77,
gold.
I think.
What's that?
It was
77?
77.
Yeah, that's
I know his
right
teammate
there.
from '76.
Yeah. Well. John Riggins would be, and I tell you what, right now he was a weirdo, but he was awesome. He was our kind of weird. He was a weird in the best kind of weird you could ever ask for.
I don't know if he was our kind of weird. He would have
think he
13
was our
beers
kind
from
of
8 in the morning from 5 in the morning until 8 in the morning while hunting. Like I drink around
then go to practice.
specifically just around those hours and don't do hunting. So I think he's like, but
if you hunted-
I get on a different level what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right. We're both weird.
If he was like, "Hey, we're going hunting," and grab some beers, you'd be like, "All right."
I mean, he grew up in
Oh
Kansas.
no, I am not going.
He grew up in Kansas in
Right.
the 70s and the 60s.
And he could fly. He was a track star.
Yeah. Deshaun Watson is
Hunter
weird, but
Fit-
don't ruin the
Hunter
list,
no
Greg.
offense to our Kansas.
Don't ruin the list. All right.
Kansans.
Hey, vote with your likes. Vote with likes. That's all I have to say. Hit the like
bring
button.
that list. Copy and paste, baby.
Next week, if you like our list, give us a like. Any closing thoughts, guys, tonight? Before
Again, you guys made me feel better. I came in here kind of, bitter, disappointed, and just a little,
I
Here we
wasn't
go
trying.
again, and-
I'm right in the middle.
And you guys, you made me feel better. I appreciate that. I appreciate the board.
Always appreciate that board.
we're gonna be, so we have some action items to take with us from now until next week. I don't know what exactly we're gonna do, but if people want to be like up or down, I think the one thing you can take away from the initial thrust of free agency is that we addressed the greatest area of need on our team. Maybe not the way ultimately that you would have wanted, but we meaningfully addressed the number one area of need on our team. We have signed one of our own that is a starter on the defensive side. We do still have money. We do still have some maneuverability, so it's not over for us. And unlike what it would be if we had Russell Wilson, we still have our first-round pick and the ability to add a starting player, if not two, right away in this NFL draft, where there is expected to be depth at the positions we need. We should expect that in the first and second round, we can draft, if we stand pat, we can draft players that should start for us on day one. That's pretty awesome.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
We've done well doing that on the defensive side of the ball. Let's get some day one offensive starters in the outside of the tackle to tackle and the tight end.
No
That's the
no
only-
Tyler Linderbaum
Although
for you.
I like those guys too.
But no, we've done well with those guys. What I'm saying is, let's make that splash. Let's get a guy in the first or second round that produces offensively this year as a weapon.
Okay, either or. Garrett Wilson or Jameson Williams. Either or. And if you don't...
Jameson Williams is a special
He
athlete.
really is.
He's a special
And
athlete.
Garrett is too. He can fly, and he's I'm gonna go Jameson.
Jameson. Garrett Wilson or Traylon Burks.
First of all, Traylon Brooks might go before anybody. in my
I
book.
understand he might not be there when we drafted 11. And I don't know if I should expect him to
He's
be.
the only guy I think that would, if we drafted at 11, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
for real. He's not Debo because he's 4 inches taller.
Yep.
He also, they said about the same things about Debo. He's not sudden enough. He's not quick enough in and out of breaks. He'll have a hard time separating from eat a big bag of it.
Yeah.
He ran a 4.49. Debo did at the combine. 4.55 was our boy.
Yep.
He's like, did you ever see anyone catch me on film? So obviously we don't watch film. We watch YouTube cut-ups or highlight tapes or whatever we get our eyes on. No, we didn't get someone to send us his film. I hate when people are like, oh, you got to think you watch film. No, we don't. We don't.
Yep.
Or else we'd be watching the end zone cut, the mid cut. We'd have everything. And it would be cut up for us, and we get to see everything because we don't do that. But that dude never got caught, never got tackled by the first dude, caught everything. And holy shit, is he a great football player. There's something called game speed. And T-Bird, you know what I'm talking about. There's certain guys that God
It
built
was his
for
ball.
this.
When the ball's in the air, it was
Stephon
his
Diggs
ball,
had it.
right? Like how many quarterbacks
Probably better
beat
than
him to the
anybody I've
ball
ever seen.
in the air? None.
It's different. And when you see these guys, it's different. Get them on the clock, and you're like, oh, really? Well, watch them on tape, sir.
Yeah.
Watch them up close.
Stephon Diggs was that guy.
Well, I think
No one's
I
taking the
didn't
ball
want
away
to start
from him.
talking about him because
Yep.
I did a run on him 2 weeks ago, and I lost my marbles. He's the only guy I want.
Traylon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's special. All right, Chris Oliver, Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
I think Garrett Wilson too.
Can't keep denying Garrett Wilson.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna wait.
The
until
guy's
see-
a star. He has star potential.
yeah, and he's a first rounder, I think.
Yeah, no doubt.
Again, now you talk about a guy. If we trade down, we might trade out of Jameson Williams, but we could still stay in the Garrett Wilson.
And that's fine.
sweepstakes. Yep.
But
Plus,
I
added
just
picks.
want to sprinkle some holy water on this pick card because, like we said, Daniel Snyder hasn't had great
No.
draft receiver.
It's not still not
Tradition.
still not determined that he'll be the owner when we make that draft. But as of right now, he's the owner. That's a fact.
That would be the greatest transaction on the transaction list ever.
Free agency?
Like, offered something
If
about
in free agency, we got a new owner.
We just cut butthole straight out from underneath himself. We've thrown him into the
Cutting
Potomac.
Dan Snyder would be the best.
AGH in the house. Good to see you, brother. Nasta, all the way to all of our good friends over in
As soon as he jumped
Wales.
on board, the Caps got that dub
Shootout
sack.
goal. 4-3 win over the Islanders. Good for you guys. Who got the goal, Rhett?
Just shoot out.
Oh, it was a shootout. I saw it. I see it now. Love it. Well, boys, I think we've Tuesdayed it up here enough for one Tuesday. Until next week, on behalf of First Amendment Sports, this was Thank God It's Tuesday. He's Tim Strachan.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys, again for giving a rosier picture. I appreciate that.
He's Kevin Ricca.
Offensive weaponry, please.
Do
We
better.
need somebody that can explode or detonate or shoot or at least run fast and score touchdowns, for crap's sake.
Just give us somebody fast.
God, you fast. I'll take speed. Speed.
Fast with good hands and incredible agility.
And I love this board. Let's get weird on these
Yeah.
QBs next
Of all
week.
the curmudgeony 98-year-old things you've said so far in our history, Greg Martin on the board, I'll give you credit for the last one you said. When you asked me, he's going to sell the team in 6 weeks now? All right, fair enough. Fair point, sir. I'll give you that one. That seems like a heavy lift. But,
Ken's giving Dennis 2 weeks.
yeah, I've given him his notice. I want the bags packed. I want security walking him to the effing door. All right, well, appreciate you guys. We'll see you next Tuesday night. If you saw something you liked, don't mind seeing a thumbs up. Appreciate you guys if you do it. We'll see you in 7 days. Until then, I'm Ken Marangol. See you next week. Still live.
Later.
Big win for the Caps.
Did you really look up what a